Welcome back to this episode of the podcast, Fook You Thought. Now, on today's episode, we got a theory that's really going to blow people's mind. The JFK assassination done by the government. I didn't know that, but I thought it was done by Lee Harvey Oswald, the known assassination that everybody is known for. Well, today we're going to take a deep dive to see if the government really was behind the JFK assassination. Now, I'm reading an article from the Jacksonville.com, Florida Times Union, and let's take a deep dive into this article. On the very day John F. Kennedy died, a cottage industry was born. 50 years and $100 million later, it's still thriving. Is it a product? The truth about President's assassination? By the evening of November 22nd, 1963, I found myself drawn into a case Los Angeles businessman Ray Marcus wrote in Adelon B., one of the several self-published monograms he produced of the assassination. For him, the authorities were just too quick to pat with their conclusions. The government was saying that there was only one assassin, that there was no conspiracy, Marcus said. It was obvious that even if this supernatural turned out to be true, it can have been known to be true of all time. Most skeptics, include Marcus, didn't get rich by publishing their doubts and theories, and some have even bankrupted themselves, chasing theirs, but a few selected that have good money in keeping the controversy alive. Of course, the Warren Commission officially concluded in 1964 that Lee Harvey Oswald had acted alone and issued 26 volumes of the documents to support that determination. But rather than closing the book of JFK's death, the report merely served as fuel for already kindled fire of doubt and suspicion. Since then, even the government investigators have stepped away from the lone assassin theory. In 1978, however, the U.S. House selected committees on assassinations ended in its own lengthy inquiry by finding that JFK was probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy. That panel acknowledged it was unable to identify the other gunmen or the extent of the conspiracy. But armed with mountains of sensational release documents, there has been no shortage of people willing to offer their own conclusions. Among the leading suspects, Cuban, as sounds angry about the Bay of Pigs fiasco, mafioso arranged by Attorney General Robert Kennedy's attack on organized crime, the military's industrial complex worried about JFK's review of war policy in Vietnam. One of the theorists even floated that the notion of the Kennedy's limousine driver shot the president as part of an effort to cover up a proof of alien invasion. I don't think that's the case. Anything but Oswald, a helpless former Marine, was in the right place at the right time with the motive and opportunity to pull off one of the most audacious crimes in American history. As they say, the nature's abhors a vacuum and the mind above chances, says Michael Sherman, executive director of the Skeptical Society and author of The Believing Brain, a book on humans seem hard to find the patterns and desperate and unconnected, often innocent conclusions. Subheader: about 6 to 10 Americans say they believe multiple people were involved in the conspiracy to assassinate Kennedy, while 1/4 think Oswald acted alone. According to an AP JFK survey done in April, belief in the conspiracy, though strong, had declined since a 2003 Gallup poll found 75% that said they thought Oswald was part of the wider plot. The case has riveted the public from the start. When the Warren Commission report was released in a book form, it debuted as number 7 on the New York Times bestselling list. 2 years later, attorney Mark Lane rushed to judgment, dominating the list. The Warren Commission, he argued, frequently chose to rely on the evidence. There was no stronger and sometimes demonstrable weaker than contrary evidence which is rejected. Since then, dozens of books with these titles: Best Evidence, Reasonable Doubt, High Treason, Coup d'etat in America, the CIA, and Assassination of John F. Kennedy have sought to lay responsible for JFK's death at the highest level of the U.S. government and beyond. Even British journalist Anthony Summer, who's documented a book in the 1980s book Conspiracy, says many conspiracy buffs are fine scholars, and students and some are mad are haters who think it has done by men far from Mars using time capsules. Unlike the later coverage, the Watergate, there were no reports like the Washington Post, Bob Woodward, and Carl Weinstein, who were told by editors, get on this and don't get off it, says Summers. Nobody went down there and really did the shoe leathering work and the phone calls that they were all supposed to. But later, other than that, there has not been any other theories or conspiracies out there to negate what really happened during the JFK assassination. Now after reading all of this, I believe that did the government have some type of part of it? Maybe. Are they trying to cover it up? I think so. Shutting down all these newspapers and everything and all these books and not digging further into really what happened. Just blaming Lee Harvey Oswald. Tell me what your thoughts in the comments. And on the next episode, we'll dig deep into what's below the earth. Thank you for tuning in.